Hello, you are most welcome. I'm teacher Ivan from Wuna Educational Services. In this very lesson, we shall be looking at the making subject of the formula, which involves expressing one variable in terms of the other. Cases to be handled are, we shall look at the linear equations and the nonlinear equations. We shall start with the linear equations. Under the linear equations, we shall look at the direct equations and the fractional equations. And in all the cases, these are the general steps that we shall follow. We shall collect like terms from the given equation, and after factor out the wanted variable if need be, and finally eliminate the unwanted variables and following the mathematical principles. So let us look at the direct equations first. Direct equations involve making use of direct correction of like terms. For instance, in our first example, we are given that 2x plus 2y equals to 5. So they want us to make x the subject. So if we are to make x the subject, that means that we shall have to drive this term to the right hand side and also eliminate 2. That is to say, since it is a plus, it becomes a minus. So when we subtract on either sides, we remain with 2x equaling 5 minus 2y. And after remaining with 2x, remember our question is targeting to make x the subject. Since we have 2x, we shall have to divide by 2, so that we remain with x as 5 minus 2y over 2 as our final answer. So from this example, we note that where we have a plus goes with a minus on either sides and end up with the 5 minus 2y. Where we have a multiplication is solved by dividing on either sides to remain with what we want to make the subject. In example 2, we are given that nm plus nr equals to mp. So they want us to make n the subject. So from the formula given in the question, which is mn plus nr equaling to mp, since we are supposed to make n the subject, but this n we are supposed to make the subject is appearing twice. So our first step is to factorize it out so that we reduce the number of times it is appearing. So if we factor out n, we remain with n into m plus r equaling to mp. After factoring n out, we now divide by the brackets. Since we want to remain with n, therefore we shall divide by the bracket to end up with n as mp over m plus r. The m that is appearing twice does not affect our final expression, as long as we are making n the subject, which is the wanted subject of the formula. So those are two equations concerning the direct equations. Let us continue to look at more examples in example 3, we are told to make Q the subject from the equation PQ plus PR equaling to QW. So from PQ plus PR equaling to QW, then if we are to make Q the subject, we have to first collect like terms, because we have two terms that are having Q. So after collecting like terms, we bring QW on the other side, and this one goes on this side. So that the plus becomes a minus, and the plus also becomes a minus on the other side. So after doing that, we now factorize what we want to make the subject, which is Q. So we factorize out Q to remain with P minus W in brackets. After factorizing out Q, we shall now divide by the bracket to remain with Q. So that gives us Q as negative PR over P minus W in brackets. So that is how we shall work out that. From this example and the previous, we note that whenever what you are aiming at, making the subject, appears more than once, the first steps are collect like terms or bring those terms on the same side of the equation, like the way we did. After factorize what you want to make the subject out. So in this case, we wanted to make Q the subject, we took it out. And after, just divide by the remaining bracket to make Q the subject. Let us look at another example. In example 4, we are given that AB plus C equals to AC plus BM. So they want us to make A the subject. So since A, they want to make the subject, is appearing in two terms, therefore our first step is to collect like terms, whereby we are carrying this to the other side. So that gives us AB, it is a positive, so once it crosses, becomes a minus. Even this one crosses to become a minus. So we end up with AB minus AC equaling to BM minus C. And since we want to make A the subject, we shall factorize it out to remain with A into B minus C equaling to BM minus C. After that, we divide by the bracket. So we divide by the bracket of B minus C on both sides to remain with A, hence giving us A as BM minus C over the bracket of B minus C. So that is how we shall deal with the terms that appear more than once. We first collect like terms, factorize out, and carry out mathematical operation. The operation here is majorly division. Let us look at example 5. In example 5, we are given that a half AH equals to HB plus NM. So they want us to make H the subject and hence determine the value of H if N equals to 5, M equals to 10, A equals to 12, and B equals to 1. So from the given equation, which is a half AH equaling to BA, HB plus NM, therefore, since we want to make H the subject, that means that we find ways of taking away a half and a. But since this is a fraction, therefore we shall multiply through by 2 to eliminate the fraction. That is to say, if we multiply by 2, the 2 reduces to remain with AH, equaling to 2 HB plus 2 NM. And after that, we shall probably divide by A to remain with H. And after remaining with H, we shall substitute. Remember, they want us to find the value of H. So here we are. After multiplying by 2, we remain with AH equaling to 2 HB plus 2 NM. So after that, we now collect like terms because we also have H in this term. So after taking out the fraction, we collect like a term so that we bring this 2HB this side. And after bringing it this side, we factorize out what we want to make the subject, which is H. After factorizing out, we divide by the bracket on both sides to remain with H equaling to 2 NM over the bracket of A minus 2B. This is our expression after making H the subject. Then we had the hence finding the value of H. So we are given the values of N, M, A, and B, which we shall substitute in our new equation to find the value of H. So when we substitute for the N, M, A, and B and work out the expression, we end up with H as 10. So that is how we shall deal with the direct equations. Direct equations involve collecting like terms and carrying out mathematical expressions on the expression to find the general or the final required equation. Otherwise, we look at another category of linear equations. Remember, linear equations were divided into two. We have the direct equations and the fractional equations. But I beg to pause from here. We shall pick up from here in our next video. Otherwise, I'm teacher Ivan from Wuna Educational Services. We are still looking at how we change the subject of the formula, which is a very crucial topic in mathematics. Please, see you next time. Bye-bye.